Hello, and welcome to the Tavern Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Tenkar, your bartender in the OSR, your main proprietor at the Tenkar's Tavern blog. And today, we've got some news. Some of you may remember the 7th C Second Edition Kickstarter, which raised over $1 million. It was the largest RPG Kickstarter until recently. It was John Wick. Well, apparently back in November, uh, John Wick's company laid off all of its staff because it realized it wasn't making, 1.2 million sounds like a lot of money until you start paying people salaries. And then it isn't really the money you thought it was. So, what happened? Let everybody go and decided to try to pretty much shop the IP around, I guess you could say, to find a way to keep product going. He was still writing. He was still promising what was, I guess, promised. He was promising what was promised. That makes a lot of sense, sir. But yes, promising what was promised by his two Kickstarters. One that at least had fulfilled its core, which was the seventh C second edition core book. But he had one for something for it and other stuff, I guess, associated with that Kickstarter, that the first one that hadn't all shipped. So that was November. We hit April, and the news I received in my email from Chaosium, of all places. Now, this is why it's extra interesting. Chaosium almost died under the weight of a successful Kickstarter. Okay. Not just Orient Express, but the actual 7th edition of the Call of Cthulhu rules almost drove it out of business. And stuff. You. The lesson to be learned by a lot of people is that you can have a successful Kickstarter and fund and be unsuccessful and not be able to fulfill. Funding and fulfillment are two different things. Well, in any case, Chaosium rose from the ashes. 7th C, second edition. Here's the press release or the email that I got from Chaosium. Chaosium, publishers of the award-winning tabletop role-playing games Call of Cthulhu, RuneQuest, and King Arthur Pendragon, has acquired John Wick's acclaimed 7th C RPG. 7th C is John Wick's swashbuckling and sorcery role-playing game set in the fictional world of Thea, T-H-E with an accent, A-8, so who the fuck knows. Second edition of the 7th C was crowdfunded by John Wick's own company, John Wick Presents, in 2016, setting a then record on Kickstarter for a tabletop RPG, raising over 1.3 million. I stand corrected. So now here you have 1.3 million, and you think that you've got enough to start a company, like with like hiring staff and stuff. And if we do quick Kickstarter numbers here, that 1.3 million, probably around at least 150,000, if not more, maybe 200,000 went to Kickstarter and payment processing. So now we're at 1.1 million. Let's chop some taxes off that. We'll be generous and not chop a whole lot of taxes off it. Put it at $900,000. All right, so you're already out $400,000 of what you're looking at. So now you're under a million. And somehow this is going to not only put all your stuff out and get it, fulfilled, but you're going to create a company that has a staff that you have to lay off later on. But literally 2 years later, after like this whole thing funded. So interesting. John Wick himself will be joining Chaosium as creative director for 7th C. So they're basically acquiring 7th C, Chaosium is, lock, stock, and barrel. John Wick will continue to have creative oversight of his game and remain a principal author of 7th Sea material going forward. Beyond that, John Wick will also write for other Chaosium game lines, for which he has a great affection. All right, so that's a crock of, but all right, I shouldn't say it's a crock of shit, but throwing in for which he has a great affection. Well, yeah, this is the company that just saved his ass, bought him and his uh, debts, obligations, took him and his obligations, and they're basically making sure that his Kickstarter is going to be fulfilled. He better have a great affection for the Chaosium game lines. John is an extraordinary, talented designer and highly regarded figure in the world of tabletop RPGs. Apparently not highly regarded, though, for his business sense, but at the issue that a lot of people have when it comes to truly hugely successful Kickstarters. They don't understand. They think large, and they still have to think small. We are delighted to have him join our team, said Chaosium President Rick Meintz. Following the death of Chaosium's founder, Greg Stafford, in November last year, John's memorial piece about Greg's titanic influence on the landscape of tabletop games was shared and quoted widely. John Wick said, "My first RPG was a Chaosium game. My second RPG was a Chaosium game. My third RPG was a Chaosium game. Saying I'm excited to be joining the Chaosium team just doesn't do it. I've respected and admired the company for over 30 years. I'm joining the same company who started me on this journey, and I couldn't be prouder." It would have been interesting to hear those 3 titles named. Maybe it's just me, but all right, whatever. Upon acquiring this new game line, Chaosium's paramount objective for 7th Sea is the fulfillment of the outstanding rewards for the 7th Sea 2nd Edition and the 7th Sea Kitai Kickstarters. Coinciding with this announcement, John Wick has updated all Kickstarter backers with the new arrangements, which will see Chaosium overseeing the remaining fulfillment of the campaigns. Over coming weeks, 7th Sea products and content will begin to be migrated to Chaosium.com and Chaosium's page at DriveThru RPG. A 7th Sea discussion board will also be set up at BRP Central, Chaosium's forums. I'm almost speechless on this. I give a huge credit to Chaosium. I can't not give them a huge amount of credit because they're saving something. They're from saving. They're saving 7th Sea from going from a record-breaking Kickstarter to being a record-setting failure. And again, we've seen that with something as small as Far West. Far West raised less than 50,000, and we're over 7 years. We're up at 7.5 years late. Well done. You can be wildly successful in your funding and still be a failure. And I think we're seeing that now. Even with something as late as a Kickstarter in 2016, you think we would have learned lessons by now. When I say we, the Kickstarter community, the backers, the Kickstarter creators, you think that would have been seen by now. We would have learned lessons. I guess lessons are still being learned. And as long as, I don't know, somebody like Chaosium is willing to pull, bacon out of the pan as it's frying up and save it from burning to a crisp, I guess not everybody will need to learn their lesson. This could have been a really huge failure. Just a thought. All right, folks. As usual, God bless. Be safe. Roll your dice well. Enjoy spring. Tomorrow in New York, it's going to be a high of 62. It might be rainy too, but hey, I'm going to a garden center out in Long Island, and it seems like whenever I go out there, it's always raining, which is what I like when I go see my shit to buy for the garden, right? You want stuff that's always raining. All right, well, maybe not, but that just seems to be what I always seem to find. Rain, 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 rain. On that note, manana, folks. God bless. I'll talk to you later.